Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And today we're going to be talking about I can't stop beating myself up. Well, one of the hardest things about a breakup is constantly looking at what you did wrong, obsessing about everything that you did that may have made your situation worse, or anything that you did that may have caused the breakup. We kind of sit there and just focus on all of our faults about what we did that ended the relationship, and then we start beating ourselves up over it. We can get angry at ourselves and just almost want to punish ourselves because of that overwhelming feeling of, I did this. This is my fault. And now you're devastated because the person that you love doesn't want anything to do with you. And you feel so angry, guilty, sad, that you probably wind up feeling overwhelmed, being depressed.
Mm-hmm. It can really change your outlook on yourself. We hear many of you say, I don't deserve another chance with them. I don't deserve a healthy relationship because I made this one fail. And so we're hoping that through this video, we can challenge some of those beliefs and help you better manage this beating yourself up, this tendency to spiral and make it all your fault. So at the core of what many of these thoughts lead to really is these false beliefs. A lot of them can include, my ex was perfect. You know, we start to think, am I going to find somebody as great as them, as compassionate as them, as lovely as them, or as attractive as them even?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can see your ex as your last chance for love. And this is really something that can get us in our heads, is when we think this is our key to happiness. It's our ex. Our relationship was perfect. We shared so many laughs. This was the first time that I really felt seen and heard by somebody. This is the first time, maybe for some of you, that you really felt loved, like truly loved. And so thinking about losing that might make you feel like there's no hope or chance for that ever again. And it really is these faulty beliefs that can keep you in the cycle of beating yourself up.
Absolutely. One big one that a lot of people feel is, I'm never going to feel as connected with somebody new as I am with my ex. I think most people feel like that. That this person was the person for me. I know it. And the idea of finding someone else that you might be compatible with, or that you may have this intense connection with in the future, we just kind of push it away and say, no, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. I know it's never going to happen.
And physiologically, when we are attached, it goes deep. You know, the other person's scent becomes ingrained in your mind. The other person's laugh, the tone of their voice, everything. I remember shortly after I think it was my very first breakup, I remember looking at a picture of him, and it was almost a supernatural experience where I felt like I was looking at a reflection of myself. That's how connected and bonded I felt with this person.
Wow.
So many of you are experiencing the same thing, and your body recognizes that this person is a safe person, somebody who's very close with you. So to have that person not around really affects you.
Yep. And you kind of focus on all the things that you did wrong and all the things your ex did right. And you get caught up in that cycle of only focusing on the bad you did and the good they did. It's kind of like black and white. But it's not fair, because there's a good probability that you did a lot of good and they did a lot of bad. And it's kind of a mixed bag. But when you're in that feeling or in that state, it's hard to see.
And seeing them as a whole person with faults, with mistakes too, really does help for a healthier reconciliation down the line. I know right now your ex seems like that golden egg, that perfect thing, the goal, what you're trying to get back, what you're trying to restore, but also remembering that likely they had some contributions to the breakup too, can help later on if you do end up reconnecting. It's going to help you be less resentful when you do start seeing some of their mistakes pop up, which inevitably they will. And it's also you taking on more of a proactive approach. If you can already tell yourself and know, okay, this person is probably going to mess up at some points, they are also working through their own attachment issues too. Likely their anxiety or avoidance is going to come up. So if you enter that situation with that knowledge, it can help you from being shocked or from being disappointed once you do reunite. I think it gives you a more realistic setup for things.
Yeah, absolutely. And ideally, they come back in a way where they're acknowledging the good that you did and the mistakes that they made. That is a much healthier situation to navigate than if they're still trying to blame you for everything. But you know, when you're going through this on your own, you're likely feeling depressed. And that can often be the anger that you have about your mistakes, and you're turning it inwards and you're feeling guilty, and it really is the core of your depression. And when you're beating yourself up and taking all the blame for the situation, when it's more complicated than that, it really has an impact on how you're feeling about things.
And with these feelings of taking in all of that blame, we tend to merge it with our identity. We start to see these as fundamental character flaws when they're really not. You know, you're still figuring things out. If you are new to our channel, you're likely learning about attachment styles, hearing about it for the first time. We highly encourage therapy in almost every one of our videos. And so you're just now being exposed to this. A breakup can be a really great thing. It can be a catalyst to a lot of change. However, if you stay stuck in that guilt, then it can keep you from moving forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so when we do look at guilt, there's this misconception that guilt is like a negative feeling. Guilt can be very productive in the right doses. Guilt is something that tells you, I messed up here, I know I can do better, I want to make things right. When we have excess guilt, that's really when we start to muddle ourselves and muddle our potential. So we really want you to be aware of these things. And I know cognitively you might think, okay, I know that I'm beating myself up, I know that I shouldn't be doing this, and it's going to take some time for your body to catch up. And with these feelings of beating ourselves up, making it all of our faults, it can tie into our identity. We start seeing these mistakes as fundamental character flaws when really they are not that. You know, you're still figuring things out. If you're new to our channel, you're likely just finding out about attachment styles, attachment theory, learning things about your childhood, re-evaluating your life, your values, what you want. So please be compassionate with yourself throughout this process.
Absolutely, because nobody's going to be perfect. Nobody. Okay? Everybody is going to be selfish at times, or not see a partner's bid to connect, or maybe they're not empathetic, or maybe they're focusing on themselves or their own needs. Nobody's going to be perfect. Even the most skilled person in a relationship is going to make mistakes or do things that maybe hurts or disappoints their partners at times. So treat yourself with kindness, that it's okay to make mistakes, and use positive self-talk to focus on how you're improving and the ways you're improving, so you feel good about where you're going and taking what you've made mistakes in and learning from it and growing from it. And so you're feeling better about yourself, and that's going to put you in a much better position to have a better relationship with them or anybody else.
And there's this misconception about guilt, that it's a negative feeling, that it's completely useless. I don't believe in that. I do think that guilt can be very motivating. However, in excess is really when it becomes counterproductive. So accountability for your mistakes, it's not endless punishing yourself. It's not saying that you don't deserve healthy relationships or to be loved again. In fact, it's a lot of the opposite. It's being able to have compassion for yourself despite your mistakes. The more you're able to do that for yourself, the more you will be able to do that for a partner when they mess up in the relationship. So many of you will take on this idea that, like, I really have to work on my own issues, but then you show up in a partnership and realize, wow, okay, I didn't realize that I too would be disappointed by my partner. How am I going to handle that? Can I have compassion for them? So really think about these things, and remember that you beating yourself up, how you are treating yourself, this is just a continuation likely of your attachment style and your attachment wounds. Okay, we can only treat others and love others as much as we can love ourselves. So remember that your own work, your own being kind to yourself and taking care of yourself is one of the most selfless things that you can possibly do. So remember that as we continue on.
And focus on the present and on the future. Okay, you can learn from the past, and it's good to learn from the past, but staying stuck there, punishing yourself, is not going to change anything. It's not going to bring somebody back. It's not going to improve your life. It's not going to make them feel better that you're punishing them yourself. It's just counterproductive, and it just keeps you stuck. So focus on staying positive and focus on the present and in the future. Okay.
Right. And another big thing that can help if you're having these obsessive thoughts, it's very cliche, but mindfulness. If you do start learning about mindfulness and holding this non-judgmental attitude towards yourself, learning how to redirect your thoughts without shaming yourself, without guilting yourself or criticizing yourself, that can be helpful. And it is a practice, meaning that it is something that you get more and more skilled at over time.
Absolutely. All right, so hopefully this has been helpful to you guys, and hopefully you'll show compassion for yourself and just focus on healing and getting to a great place. And of course, if you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here if you'd like to chat.
So click on her name so you can schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.